All right, so you've decided you'd like to speak at a conference. What next? Well, each conference has a call for abstracts. This is a period of time where they're accepting ideas from various people, and then they go through a down select process and notify you whether or not you've been chosen. So I've had a chance to put together many different abstracts, and what I've learned is that you don't need to divulge everything that you're going to talk about in the abstract. What you really want to do is just catch people's attention. So you probably should mention what problem you're solving and what your solution was, not in great detail, but so abstracts, or you want them to be catchy. They do not need to be long. I would say just a single paragraph would do it. Kind of what the problem and solution was, and something along the lines of, find out more at my session or something along those lines. As far as structuring your presentation, again, this is where I actually found a pretty cool book, Beyond Bullet Points by Cliff Atkinson. Now, granted, I read this book recently, and in the past, what I'd done is just kind of followed okay, what's the problem? So you describe that. Then you describe your solution. That's really the heart of your presentation. And then you sum it up with lessons learned. Now, it's not a bad idea to include an introduction slide on yourself, possibly your company. I wouldn't make that more than one or two slides. And so that's a pretty important one. And then something else I like to do is I like to toss a fun fact in there. Now, for me, this works out great because the fun fact that I use quite a bit is the fact that I ask people, well, what do these two U.S. chess champions have in common? And it turns out that my parents are both ex-U.S. chess champions. So my brother and I are the only two people, I believe, in the world that can say that their parents have been U.S. chess champions. Anyways, so you might have a different fun fact, but the point is it's kind of an icebreaker. So if you don't feel comfortable tossing that in there, don't, because early on I wasn't as comfortable with that. So I kind of started introducing the fun fact later on after I got a little bit more comfortable with being on stage. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, as a software developer, I used to make the mistake of getting into a lot of technical information and just kind of assuming people knew what I was talking about. So it's really important to know who you're talking to. So if you're going to a technical conference where people are really excited to basically hear you talk about the technical aspects, then it's a real good idea to get into the technical aspects of what you did, especially if you get questions on it. But if your topic is an introduction to something and people weren't expecting the details, that's the surest way to make yourself sound really boring. So just keep in mind who your audience is. That's also important.